inspire you to explore and express your creativity with our 2 projects today. I'm super excited. I was able to come up with all the supplies. Well, almost all the supplies. I am still looking for one little thing that I can use. I can add later if I have to, that I don't know why. I can't keep track of my Velcro, but we're gonna try to look for it. If I can't find it, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm gonna move this down just a little bit more so you can see more of the table. I'm sorry that jiggled you. If you are able to watch us live, please come in and say hello in the chat. I'm going to pull it up on a screen down here. And if you are catching this video later on at some point, right now it is late, just after 10:30 a.m. Central Time on August 6th. If you're seeing this another time, I would love it if you tell me your thoughts in the comments as well. If you enjoy the video, give it one of these, and also subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you here. I am planning to do more recorded videos, but I would love to continue to be able to come live with you once a week if I can. So we're going to get started. Let me pull it up down here real quick, and I am going to pop it over, share it onto my Facebook page, which is also called Created in Awe. If you want to go check that page out, there's a ton more videos over there because I've been live on Facebook with, general crafting projects for almost 4 years. Pretty new to doing these here on YouTube. Let's get it pulled up. Let's see if anybody has been able to join us live. I see some people coming in, Miss Constance and Anita. Hello, hello. So good to have you guys here. And Peggy, good morning to you. Let me know where you're watching from. I know for some people it's, almost afternoon, or if you're outside the US, it might already be afternoon. Let's see. Let me get that share button and copy it. Go over to my Facebook page just to let everybody know we're here. We're going to be doing a wood kit, a platter design, and a fabric banner. Both of these I have introduced over on my Facebook page. Sorry if I'm spitting at you. I get to talking and sometimes it just... Anyway, okay, let me get over there. Get over there real quick. I want to make this quick. I should have had it queued up and I did not, but we're going to let everybody know. We are live. Let's cap that. Live on YouTube. And that needs to be fixed. Hello? Okay. Let's try this. It's not going to let me. I'm going to have to fix it. Okay, sorry. Backspace, capital, and post. And here we go. We're going to get started. So, I know some of you who are here live have already seen some of what I'm doing. And so it won't be new in style, but I'm always using different surfaces and different stencils and different craft techniques. So hopefully it's a new idea for you. Get back over here so I can see your comments. Yay, you're talking to each other. Hello, Miss Melanie Kendrick. How are you? Thank you for being here. I don't call everybody out on chat. I just like to say hello. But if you have questions, I keep an eye there and see if I can answer those. Also, we have a couple of friends in the chat who are able to answer questions as well. Miss Anita, you are amazing. Thank you for saying hi to people and answering those for me. So if I miss something, I will come back as best I can after we're done. It does not keep this chat with the video for replay. So I'll do my best to answer you. You are always welcome to private message me through Facebook. I don't know if you can send a message to me here on YouTube, but go find me on Facebook and you can message me anytime because there's lots of information I'm going to give you. And sometimes it's like information overload, and I completely understand because my mouth gets going 90 miles an hour. You're so sweet. Thank you, Anita. You have thunderstorms. Guys, be safe down in Texas and wherever you are. Constance is in California. Peggy's in Denver. Love it. Love it. Okay. So let me tell you the 2 different things we're going to be making. I've already made this project over a couple of different ways. So back in June, I created this little wood banner from a Hobby Lobby surface and words that they have in their cutout letter section. Not individual letters, it's a whole phrase. This is welcome to our home. And I turned it into a door hanger. I like to hang it more in my house because it's not really large enough in scale to look good on my front door, because I have like an inset window and then the door around it. I feel like it needs something really big. But I could add this to the middle of a wreath, and I think that would help make it more substantial. So either for me, in adding it to the front, the center part of a wreath, or inside my home, because we can change it out. So I've already made 2 banners to attach to this. This is the second one. We did it with ink, some light beige tone colors on a floral design, and then so this is 2 different stencils. This one is a stencil that says "Come to Me," so it has this gorgeous design on it, and all we have to do is pull it off from the Velcro that's attached to the top to the permanent piece that's on the back of this. So we are going to make a new banner for this piece, and I have my little drop cloth here that we're going to do that with, and we're going to put together a wood kit, and we're using the same stencil on each of these. So I'm going to get going. First I'm going to do the wood kit, and then second I will do the banner. So I need to get this painted, and then we'll kind of go back and forth. The design we're going to use is a Magnolia Design co-stencil called Gratitude. And let me get it out of this plastic cover so you can see it. Oh, I'm so happy to see Christina. Christina is here from the Rust Covered Cottage. If you are not familiar with her website, that is where you will be able to get the wood kit platter. It's a part of a collection she and I collaborated on that we're calling Farmhouse Charm. I'm blubbering my words again, Farmhouse Charm by Joey. And it's a whole collection of wood kit, little tiered tray sets, shelf sitters, display stands, sign blanks, just the whole shebang. I tried to squeeze into that collection. So I do have a link in the description to take you over to her site, and you can shop there for all of her wood kits. There's a special category if you want to look at the ones that we have in the Farmhouse Charm collection. So this stencil though is from Magnolia, called Gratitude. Look at the detail. Now on the wood platter, I'm only going to use the words. And then on the banner, we're going to do the whole thing. So we're going to kind of have a flow. And then you can bring in elements of this stencil into other things you do. You could use sections of these florals as a backdrop. You can put it on some little shelf sitters or do other things with it. It's really a pretty versatile stencil. So I'll show you 2 ways with it. Let's set this aside. I do need it as a template for the banner that we'll make next. So I'm going to just put those right there. But let's start with the wood platter. And I just went blank on the name of this, Christina. You want to put it in the comments and I can tell them the name of this. I don't know if we gave it a formal name or if it's just a platter. And I'm just debating. You guys can help me decide. Oh, wait. I just changed my mind on the color I'm going to do this. But I can put some little feet on it. I have some little wood doohickeys that we can attach to the bottom, so it can be more like a food riser, and you'd have the opportunity to display it sitting up if you put it into a little stand. So you like the stencil? I know, it's so pretty. Becca is here. Hello, good morning. I'm looking to see if I have any new friends popping in. If I do, I will try to come back and say hello to you. So say hi in the comments. Let's paint this guy. Initially, my plan was to do a white color using Waverly's Plaster color paint, because that's, your traditional platter, right? Let me tell you the size on this too. But I'm kind of thinking I might go green. I might use moss. Tell me if you guys like the idea of moss or if you think it'll look better in the white color. So from the length of this, from the outside edge of the platters, the outside edges of the platter, it's 15. The width is 9.5. Now the inside of the platter, if you're going to be stenciling stenciling on it like we will. I swear I've got to get my mouth working today. The width is 11, just under 11 and a half by just under 7. So it's like 1/8 of an inch short on both ends of those dimensions. So approximately 11 by 7. And of course it's an oval, so it may not fit a tall design. You'll have to kind of play with that. Words are hard. Yes, yes, especially in the morning. Oh, I love the platter too. Hi, Loris. Good to see you. And my friend Cindy from Monarch Mom DIY. Now, you probably all of you know Cindy. She has a very well-established YouTube channel. What is going on? YouTube channel here. And she's in the comments, so make sure you go check out her YouTube channel. I'm sorry. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So the word gratitude, if I hold my little platter ring around it, the words, gratitude turns what we have into enough, will fit beautifully right in the middle. So what should I do? Should I do moss color or should I do plaster? So here's our plaster. Oh, and I've also got this lovely mineral. I love mineral also. I'm not going to go dark. The darkest I would do would be moss. I will do the flowers. Cindy, we're doing a second project with it on a banner, and I will do the whole stencil on that one. Jenny Roberts Day, good morning. Welcome in. You like that it's vertical? Oh, good. I'm glad. It's easier for me so you can see closer to the project rather than it being wide. You think maybe celery would be better? The moss gives it more of a, what do you think, like a vintage feel. And then yes, celery would be a much lighter tone of green. So I need some more votes. Yeah, mineral is so pretty, Christina. I'm shaking these up because they are not ready. You made it, Miss Patricia. You didn't miss any of the crafting. Yeah, it's not as dark. We're just doing the words, and I'm going to do glittering black on the words. But if I did moss, I could do the words in a light color like an off-white, white or almond latte. So we're shaking them up, making some decisions. I think I need my new plaster paint. This one's just about done. Let's get the new one out and shake it up. I don't see any votes. Nobody's voting. Nobody's voting. So I may have to decide. Let's shake these up a little bit more. Let's see if this one needs to be. Yeah, almond latte is beautiful. It just gives you that vintage, that kind of old world feel, old time vintage feel. And no, I don't have my apron on. I could put it on, but it will probably hit my mic. Let's see if we can keep from making a mess. Mineral with almond latte. Do you think that'll show up on the mineral? I'm not 100% sure. I did our house wood kit, our house shelf sitter wood kit in the mineral the other day. Let's look at that and then we can kind of gauge. So, and this actually has both colors. Okay, so I used the mineral and the plaster color on this, and I used moss. All three colors are on this project. So, what would you do the platter in? Mineral, the plaster, or the moss? What do you think? And then celery would be a lighter tone of like the moss. Constance is working. Hey, I'm glad you could be here. Hi, Linda. It's a nice comfy dress, Miss Anita. So now almond latte is a little bit darker than this plaster color. So the almond latte would be what I would do against the moss color. And Christina's saying she suggests that with the mineral I don't know how well it'll show up. It does, you know, it's a little bit darker, so it would just be a very subtle design is what it would be. Loris likes moss. And then with the plaster color, I would use the glittering black. Any other votes? You guys are liking moss. Melanie likes it too. Yep, you like the muted tones. I think we're leaning toward moss. I'm going to put this back in my little stand. This kit, also from Christina in our collection, comes with a word that you can attach to the front, hello, and it comes with this wood stand. I didn't glue mine into the stand, but you can. If I can line it up, then you can see. I have mine with Jenga blocks back here propping it up so I can take it out if I want to. And then I just prop the word hello in front. You can attach it if you want, or you don't have to use that at all. So let me put this back. Okay, hold it together. This back here is a danger zone, so I've got to be careful. It's danger zone. There we go. But I love the little house. And there, we're good. So I am seeing more votes for moss. And, well, Cindy, you're no help. But thank you. I hope it is beautiful. Okay, well, let me put the lid back on my plaster color and the mineral color. Let's go moss. Let's do it. And then I will add a little bit of antique wax, dark wax to age it slightly. Sorry, this cord is getting under my feet. Not a lot. I don't want it to look too primitive style. I just kind of want to look a little bit aged, and it will help to bring out the details around the edge. And I'm going to grab a nice big piece of cardboard to house these when they dry. So I'm going to go ahead and use it as my basis for painting. Let's paint the back piece first, and then we'll do cut. You found your mini bicycle laser cut out to go on the fence of the house. Oh, is it the mini bicycle from the other tray kit that she has, the vintage Junkin vintage tier tray? That would be adorable. Oh my gosh, I have it over there. I might go grab it and see what it looks like later. Okay, I like to use sponges to paint these. It just goes faster. It gives a very thin coat. You may want more than one coat after you get it applied, but because it dries so fast from being applied with a sponge, it's really quick work. So we're gonna go ahead, and I'm not gonna wet this, but I did spray seal it with a matte spray. This is the one I use. You can use anything. I use a matte because that's the finish I like. It helps your paint go on a little smoother. It helps to seal the fibers of the wood so they don't get raised up when the wet paint gets applied to it. So I gave it probably 2 light coats. It will possibly absorb some. It's not going to be 100%, but it gives me a better base coat. Sometimes I don't have to do a second coat because it helps that color stand on top of the wood rather than soaking in. So, oh, that's a lot of paint there. That'll probably finish the whole platter. So I usually go from the center out. Anytime I want to keep the dark laser edge intact. If I wanted to paint the edges and get those covered in the same color, I would first pick it up and paint the edges, and then I would come in and do the center of the platter. But typically I like those dark laser edges. It just helps give it a little more of that vintage look, antique aged look. Okay, let's go with 1 coat. I'm seeing it's a little bit light over there, so I may have to touch it up. So let's turn this. How would moss and plaster look? You mean like, are you meaning like paint one part of the surface in moss and another part in plaster? Do a 2-tone? You could do that if you want. The plaster color I cannot use on the words because it's paint. The stencils really require chalk paste, and that's why I'm using this instead of paint on the stencil. The reason is, and you'll see when I use the stencil if you haven't seen me do it before, the stencils are washable. Acrylic paint in nature is not designed to wash off of anything. So we use the chalk paste, and then we can take our stencils to the sink. You'll see me wash it here in a little bit, or however you decide to wash it. And then that paste, and same thing with our ink that you're going to see me use in a little while. It will wash right off with water. Okay? Ideally, you get it straight to the sink right away. I think I am going to paint the interior of this the moss color. I'm just going to leave the exterior in the laser tone. So let me go ahead and do that before we finish the painting process. I'm just going to give it a coat of the moss color before I finish this. It's a little easier to handle doing all the edges first that you're going to paint before you do all of the surface top. Okay, now I'll finish the surface top. And again, I'm trying to apply the paint to the middle section of the wood and then bring it out to the edges. Moss, I've said this before over in my other videos on Facebook, moss is deceiving to me because it will look like you have fully covered everything, and then it dries, and then you can see, like right there, you can see the spots you have missed. So always look back over your project after your first coat to see if you need to add to it. And here we go. I am definitely going to add a second coat to this because I don't really want to see the wood grain on this one. A platter doesn't have wood grain. So we're going to add a second layer. Oh, okay, so you're looking at, yeah, moss on the inside, plaster on the outside. I think that would be pretty. It would kind of give the feel. Well, you know what would be cool too, is you could do plaster, and then come around the edges, just the decorative cutout section with the moss color, and to me that'll give you the feel of those Pyrex dishes that have the white tone with the green flowers around the edge. Or whatever color. You could do blue. They come in red. They come, I'm trying to think of what other colors. But my grandmother's were white with the green florals. So that would give me quite a sentimental feeling about the whole project if I did that. That would be so cute. I've done something similar to that with Christina's other plate charger wood kits. I think it's just called a charger plates. She has a couple of sizes of those. I did a little floral look around it with a two-tone color, and to me it gave that feel of those Pyrex plates. I think is it Pyrex or is it Corel? Who made those plates? Oh my goodness, I'm going blank. You like the color? You like how it's coming out? Good. Don't need a whole lot to finish this. I think a second coat is going to do everything I need. And while this finishes drying, which it'll only take a few minutes, we'll get the fabric prepped for the banner that we'll do after this. Okay. Now, I don't know if you noticed, there is an etched line going around the oval about 1/4 inch in. That's to help you line up the top rim section and make sure that you get it all centered up. So I don't have to worry that my paint is covering it up. It's not going to show. Some of her wood kits, you'll find those etched lines show as a part of the design. Not on this one. It's just a guide. And it'll show well enough for me to glue it together. Okay, I'm checking the interior. I think I got enough paint on the interior edge. I'm not going to do that. And this is looking pretty good. I'm going to do just a light coat going around because I see a few spots I missed. So let's just apply and spread it out. It's really convenient on these kits the way Christina packages them. I might be able to show you one that's in a package because she seals it down with some cellophane that keeps everything in place. If you ever order a kit from her that has a lot of little detailed pieces, the way she packages it really helps you to know how it's supposed to go together. I also recommend you look at her website after you get your kit as a guide on how to put things together, because she typically puts photos of the kits in their placements so you know how they're going to put together. Things like these little pieces back here behind me that have all the little tiny parts. The cookies for Santa that we did last week, her picture on her page pretty much tells you how it's going to go together. On her page, I mean her on her website. Okay, we're getting our second coat. Almost done. Last part. There we go. Now everything has a second coat. It's all going to be even, Steven. And because I feathered my paint out toward the edge with my sponge, I don't have a lot of cut areas that have collected extra paint. There's a couple, so I'm done with this. I'm going to put it in my jar of water. And I'm going to grab a tiny paintbrush. Oh my goodness, they're all in the bathroom. I think I've got, this might work. It's small enough. And I'm just going to go down into any of these holes that have kind of a glob of paint in them and capture some of that paint, and it'll pull it out because it's just a dry paintbrush. It'll push some of it in and pull some of it out, so at least you don't have a glob of paint in that hole. So just a few, and then I can show you what we're looking like. I think I got it. So we've got all of this. Isn't that pretty? Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm going to set this whole piece of this cardboard aside. Before I knock my paint off the table, I'm going to put it up. And I knocked something else off, apparently. Oh, it's my old plaster color. It happens all the time. All right, let's switch gears and prep our fabric piece. Again, we're going to use the same stencil. We're going to do something just like this to attach to a wall hanger, door hanger. And I am using a piece of painter's drop cloth. Now this is extremely highly textured rough fabric, so I usually don't get a crisp clean line. If you want a crisp line, use a piece of muslin. Even though that's thinner, you could, if you wanted to, double it up. You could sew two pieces together or glue them together on the outside edge to give it a little more structure, but that'll give you a smoother piece of fabric to stencil on. Stencils just don't like to attach to texture. It's just the way it is. But I think it will come out pretty good. I'm looking forward to this. Okay, celery, you can go back over here, and everything else I need out. Let's find, this is, like I said, the same fabric I used on this one. So I need to find the cut edge, the ripped edge that I want to go from. This was originally painter's drop cloth from probably Lowe's or Home Depot. And when I decided to use it for my stenciling, it doesn't come nice and soft like this. You have to throw the whole thing in your washing machine. Run it through the washing machine. You can use fabric softener if you want to. That might help. 2 times. So fully wash, then fully wash again. And it breaks down all of the additional like sizing that they put in it that makes it stiff. And then you have a nice soft fabric. So go ahead and dry it after that, and you are good to go. So let's see what size. I want it the same size as this, which is, I know I'm missing comments. you can see that kit with the magnolia background. It's the new release you showed last weekend, the IOD's Persephone mold. Oh, which kit? Which kit are you talking about? Because I've shown, we have 25 in this collection. Okay, so this width from cut edge to cut edge is 11.5 by probably the same thing. 11.25, which it can be any length you want it to be. This one will fit nicely in here in that same width because it is a design of 10.5 inches by, let me see, the 10.5. So it's a 10.5 square. So we'll just do 11.5 square, and I think it'll look good. So so I've got this seam that's actually down the middle of the fabric right here, and I've got a piece cut. Let's cut, let's see here. Well, this is going to be a challenge. Let's go ahead. Just continue to rip that off, and that's going to be a scratch because I'll use that later on for something else, probably like, and see, it wasn't even straight. Like I don't know, in a ribbon or as an edge trim on something. Okay, so we'll start with this edge. Whenever you rip, you're going to have some fraying, and I will pull some extra strings off to add to that. So that will just be incorporated within that 11.5 inch width. So let's go 11.5 to here, and I'm going to grab my scissors and cut a good like inch cut. And then we're going to measure down before I lose track of this whole piece of fabric and it falls off the table. 11.5 inches. Oh, I know why it's no, hang on. Just be aware. Now let me think about this. Be aware that your Velcro is going to have to glue to the top edge, however deep you do it. I glued it down a little over, it's probably about 1/2 inch. So the exposed part of this was 10.25. So if I want 11.5 inches to be exposed, I'm going to make it a 12-inch length. So let's go ahead and cut this one 12 inches so I can have a 1/2 inch to play with at the top. That will be the area I glue my Velcro to. So I cut 1 inch there, and then we're going to rip to the middle. You're itching to use your Persephone mold. Yeah. Oh, it's the oval kit you're thinking of. Okay. I wonder if it will fit. I don't have the Persephone mold, but I think you're right. I think that's going to look really pretty. Christina, you have to do that. Christina has a Facebook page called The Rust Cover Cottage by Christina. So check out her Facebook page, and you will see a ton of ideas there. So I'm going to start ripping this way and start ripping this way. This is a little more challenging, this direction, until they meet up. It wasn't a perfect square on this part, but it came out fine here. So let's get our strings broken off. Save. I love this. This has lasted, this particular drop cloth, I think has lasted me 4 years. I think this is the original one I bought back in like 2020 or 2021, and I don't think I've bought another one. Bought another one since. All right, so we did make one direction longer. I'm pulling off my extra strings so they are out of the way because I'm going to be pulling those anyway for effect. Let me go ahead and pull a few more. Make sure they're all out of the way. When your stencil sticks to your fabric, it's likely that some of those strings are going to pull off as well. So just be aware of that. But I'm going to go ahead. This one's not as easy to pull the strings from because it's not It's just the direction of the fabric. There we go. It just wants to catch in there and not come out in the middle. So I might have to come back later, but all I need to do to kind of give this a little stronger effect of being a frayed edge is I can use a piece of sandpaper, or I can use my scissors to kind of rub along the edge, and it separates those fibers so they show that they are frayed a little bit more. And I can work on that later. So this, I think, is my length. Let me measure again. You're gonna do it on live. Awesome. Can't wait to see it. Okay, yeah, this is my 12-inch length. So this is my length. Let me pick which side I like. There's a nice big lump in the fabric there, so I might want to avoid that. Flip it over and that's gone. The lumpier your fabric, the less crisp your lines are going to be. So that's all I'm going to do right now to prep this. I want to do the stenciling on the platter first because it's only a small section and it's really easy to get that clean, and then we can do the ink on this fabric. So let's put these two pieces together and trade back because this should be dry now. This should be dry. And conveniently, because this is a kit that is separate to start with, I can do my stenciling and then glue this on top and not worry about this rim being in my way. So you need to sit there, and I'll save my cardboard. This is some of the cardboard that comes with Christina's kits. Really, really handy to use later. Okay. Ideally, I would spray this again with a clear sealer before stenciling. I just think that works better. It helps, again, to seal down the fiber of the wood. But I don't have time to go downstairs and spray it for you, and I don't really have time to spread on a varnish and let it dry. So we're going to go ahead and go with it as it is. But in order to make sure this doesn't stick too hard to my surface, I need to do what's called fuzzing. And I have my tacky towel over here. Let me get it, but hopefully I don't knock anything off, don't cause any crashes. This comes from Magnolia, which is also where the stencil comes from. I did put a link for my Magnolia shop in the description of the video. These are reusable, they're sticky on the back, and then there is a layer of mesh on the top that holds all of the design together. So this is all one piece, and you don't have to worry about it coming apart or being floppy. Like if you use a Cricut, you would have to weed out all of the negative pieces or positive pieces, I don't know which. But I don't have to do that. This is all one piece. It comes with a backer sheet that has this nice slick plastic shiny side that it will stick back onto when I'm done washing it and drying it, so I can use it again. We will use it again today. So we will be doing that process. So I'm going to carefully pull that off and set it aside. And I'm going to lay this on this towel to add fuzz, because if it is brand new, super sticky out of the package, it might stretch when I pull it off my surface because it sticks very, very, very well. So if I add a little fuzz, just like what happens if you put a sticker on your shirt and then you try to go put it on something else and it doesn't stick as well, this will help protect the stencil and the paint that we put on our surface. So I'm going to turn this the other direction and add more fuzz. So the tacky towel comes from Magnolia, but you could use a tea towel because that's a low lint fabric. You could use a t-shirt. This is like t-shirt material. I could use my dress. It's kind of big to put up against my dress, but if you have a t-shirt that you keep, you know, on hand in your craft room, that would be convenient. But I love the tacky towel because you'll see me use the back of it for cleaning the stencil. I love my stencils. If you don't know me, Magnolia is my main business. It does help me tremendously if you decide to purchase any of the supplies from that link. But what's super exciting is the growth that I'm seeing with Christina's Rust Covered Cottage business. I've been able to help her as an affiliate, and that's growing by leaps and bounds too. So super exciting. Okay, let's do a little switcheroo. And I have a tip for you. Because my stencil is much larger than this surface, it's going to hang over the edge. And my table, if it's like your craft table, I don't know, but mine is not very clean. I have little doodads and dust and debris all over the place. So I don't want that stuck to my stencil. So what I'm going to do is put the shiny side up of the backer sheet on the table. And when we put the stencil down, it'll lay over onto that. So it'll help protect it. I'll still get a little bit of junk on my stencil, but it's okay. It will typically wash off. All right, so we're gonna lay this down, and I'm gonna gauge based on the size, the edges of the stencil. They are almost perfectly meeting up with the edges of the platter, but top to bottom, I'm gonna use my tape measure real quick just to see if my eyes are centering it up. So I have about 2 3/8 and 2 and almost exact. I think I'm going to go with it. I'm not going to try to fix it. So all I need are the words. I know it's hard for you to see the middle of this because it's green on green. In fact, I'm going to put some glasses on to make sure I can see the details. Only the words are going to get, I think we decided on the almond latte, right? So let me give this a quick stir. This is chalk paste. Chalk paste is a washable on smooth surfaces like chalkboards, glass, metal, ceramic. If you want to stencil on something like that and then wash it off and change it up, you can. On wood, you can fix mistakes, but it's going to be kind of hard to wash the whole thing off unless you get it off while it's wet. If you let it dry, you're better off. If you want to change it up, or if you want to remove what you've done, sand it down and repaint your surface. But this paste washes right off of the stencil when we're done. And I need to grab a squeegee. Got a hair tickling me. And I'm going to get down here pretty detailed and make sure I only spread my paste gently across the words. So I can go in different directions. I can get a tiny squeegee if I need to get into little areas. I can get more paste as I need to, and just get really close to this other design but not go over it. If you worry that you're going to go over the line here and accidentally get some of the flowers, just put a piece of painter's tape over it. Or, I think I did. If you do what I did and go over it, we'll clean it up afterward. Little tiny areas are usually pretty easy to clean. Okay, I've got a lot on here now, so I'm going to go over it with a little more pressure on my squeegee and clean off my excess. So let's do that right up here as well. And I just scrape it back into the jar. Might as well save it. No need to wash that off and waste it. Save as much as you can. Okay, so let me show you this. I have what I call, it's not a very technical term, what I call a ridge line going through the middle, right under the word grateful. See how there's like a line going through there? I don't like that. So I'm just going to continue to gently swipe over it with my squeegee until I get that smoothed out. There's one down here as well. So let's just gently, now that's gone, and we just pull our stencil off now that we're done while the paste is wet. Oh, I missed a spot. Dag nabbit. Pull that stencil off slowly, so if you miss a spot, you can touch it up. Pull the stencil off. That's, oop, I didn't get the bottom of my T. Hopefully I got everything else. And let's see, I can clean that up and that. Oh, it's so pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, this I am going to be washing in just a second, but I'm not going to put it down in my water. It'll be a little more challenging to get dry. Instead, I could have moved it up higher. I will just clean it right here on the table. Isn't that pretty? Oh, that's so pretty. I do wish I had moved it up slightly. Just my own personal choice, but it's still really, really pretty. Uh-oh. Oh, did I miss a question? Thank you guys for helping each other out. I'm going to put this on the backer sheet, and we're going to do a quick cleaning so we can take the same stencil and use it on the fabric. Then after I've done the ink on the fabric, I'll be putting it in my tub and taking it to my sink after we shut down and washing it there, because it will have a lot more color to it and it will need a little more scrubbing. So here, what I'm first going to do is get my stencil cleaner. This is really beat up. It's originally, looks like this one, comes from Magnolia. It has a nice little nubby texture to it. And I clean my stencils with this. So I'm going to do an initial swipe with my stencil cleaner to get some of this paste off. Hold on. Okay, yes, some of it is going through to the backer sheet, which I will clean off as well. So that's getting most of the paste off. Just going to wring this out. Everything is water washable. And then I have something else I'm going to use on here, which is optional. You don't have to. This could totally clean it off, especially at your sink. Rinse it off with water and you would be good to go. But because I don't have my sink here to run the water over this, and I don't want to dunk the whole thing, I'm going to use a disinfecting wipe. Not a baby wipe, but a disinfecting wipe. It does have cleaning properties in it, but it doesn't have any oil. Baby wipes have oil, so you can use Clorox or Lysol brand. This is just a store brand. And I'm going to go back over this again. It's going to help get remnants of the paste off. Okay, now I'm not done. I need to do the back also, and I'll come back and probably do the front again. So let's flip this over on the backer sheet, just because, yeah, there's a little bit of stuff on the back. Okay. And because now my backer sheet is super wet, that was good for my initial cleaning. I'm going to switch and lay it on the gray side of my tacky towel without extra strings that are on there ideally. And I'm going to go back over it again. I'm going to get a new wipe. This has a lot of that paste on it that's just going to smear around. So let's get a new wipe. And I'm going to start with the front. Go back over the front one more time. Some people also use water wipes. I've never used them. They tell me you can get them at Walmart. Anita, didn't you say you use water wipes? I have not yet tried them. Yes, this does stick to the gray side, but there's not much lint on here, so it's not going to add too much. And in fact, what I'm doing right now, this action of using this wipe on the back, the sticky side of my stencil, it is not only getting remnants of paste off, but it's also cleaning off a little bit of the fuzz. So when you wash your stencil, you do want to try to clean off some of that fuzz that you added initially, because it's just going to make it last longer. You can get 8 to 10 uses out of your stencils, or more. Some people get more if you take good care of them, clean them, get them dry, and store them well, which is just, you know, your normal temperatures of your home, not extreme temperatures ideally, and not in like a wet environment. Okay, so let's give this just a minute or two to dry. While that's drying, we're going to switch back over and we're going to put this together real quick. I'm going to use my wet wipe. I have a couple of little extra blobs down here that I'm just going to use my wet wipe to clean up, because my paste is water soluble. Now, sometimes you can even see here, sometimes that will pull up a little bit of paint, so be careful. If you did too much, you can touch it up. All right, so that is done. Let's glue it together. I still have, my gosh, I'm shedding like crazy today. I'm going to use Stick Fast Thick glue. It's a super glue and it's perfect for these lightweight wood surfaces. Even though these are a really good substantial 1/4 inch thick, it will hold everything together. You could choose to use wood glue. That would be a very good bond as well. Or if you use hot glue, it's not a permanent bond. So in high heat, extreme temperature situations, like if you store it in your attic, like my attic here in Oklahoma turns up, you know, gets probably 150 degrees in there in the summertime. That's not a good place for hot glue. So I use this wood glue, and I don't know why I'm taking my glasses off, but my little tip here got a little clogged because I need to clean it out. So I'm just going to use a stick pin to go in there and clean that a bit. That opened it up. All right, let's do this. I'm going to put my glue. I'm just going to go ahead and put it down here. And I just need to dot it around the rim outside of that etched line. So I'm just dotting as I squeeze very lightly. This is a gel formula of glue, and you can get it on Amazon. I believe you can get it in your hardware stores. I do have an Amazon storefront. I can add that link if you want it. And it gives you a couple of, you know, like 30 seconds to a minute before it dries so you can get your placement right. So I'm going to hover over and get my angles right. Okay. Now once I set it down, if it's not quite perfect, I can adjust. But I think, oh, let me slide it up just a little bit. See, I tend to slide. It does give you that little bit of extra time to get it adjusted. Once it's there, press straight down. Okay, and give it a minute to seal. There's one last step on Christine looking for a brand new glue gun. Oh, I got a new one. Cindy recommended it to me. I'll show it to you. I haven't used it yet, but she uses it all the time. So I come very confidently recommend it to you. We will age this a little bit and then we will spray seal it. I won't do it with you, but after we age it, let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let me get my dark wax because this is drying and I can work with it. And I'm just going to put a little bit of dark wax around the rim to highlight that, or low light, I don't know. Dark sealing wax. There's a lot of different brands out there. I did put this one in my Amazon shop too. That one I think you can actually get at hardware stores. So I put a little bit on this brush and I wiggle this around to work it into the bristles so it's not globs. Instead it is worked into all the bristles. This should be sealed. Yep, we're all sealed up. And I am just going to hold this and gently tap to apply some wax. If it's not heavy enough, I can come back with a little bit of a brush action. Need more. More. It's not as dark as I'm wanting, so I'm going to add more wax and go a little lighter with my pounces. Let's pounce some more over here. Go all the way around. Okay. Let's do a little bit of brushing to smooth it out on the edges. Okay. If it's too heavy, if you get too much in an area, you can take your wet wipe and wipe it off, or you can take some clear wax to soften it. Okay, I'm coming in just a little bit to add some pounces. Just gives us some age. I think I'm going to have to put some on the interior rim too, just for the look I want. So we're going to just gently pounce this interior rim. I don't really want to get it onto the base, so I'm going to come up higher and just pounce lightly. There we go. Oh, I like that. Ooh, I like it. It's helping to define this rim. Gives it a little more definition. Now, let's see if I swipe it gently. I'm not touching the base part of the plate, if at all possible. Okay, I'm going to add a little more. And that's all the aging I want to do. Now you could go hog wild and age this whole thing up and make it look super primitive and rough and gorgeous. Whatever you do with it. But this is just the look I want. I think I'm done. And I'll show it to you. Then the last thing I'll do is I'll take it downstairs, either my garage or on my back porch. And I'll spray it. It's a couple of, there, with clear sealer. And that will seal my chalk paste that, of course, I mentioned is water soluble. It will seal it down so it's permanent, and it'll also seal in all of that wax. Can you see the interior edge? There, you can see it right there. It just helps to define it. Don't you love it? Oh, I love it, love it, love it. So this is, again, the same sealer I used to prep the boards, I will use to seal everything down. So I will give this 2 good solid coats, letting it dry in between, since this is going to be decorative. If you are going to be setting things on this, like, for example, let me show you what we can attach to it. Let me see what I've got in here. I've got, well, let's see. We could go with these. There's a lot of options. Dollar Tree has the little square blocks. I like these guys for this. These are little wood toy wheels from Hobby Lobby that I would probably choose to be the feet. Let me just carefully turn this over, and you can paint the back of it if you want. So I would probably paint these up the same color, or maybe just do black, something like that, and attach them to the bottom. So they will make a food riser, okay? So let's just, that's where I would put them. Just tentatively, we'll set them there for height. I'll decide. I don't know for sure if that's what I want to do. But then you can put this on your middle of your dining room table as it is, or you can use it as a base for adding pieces to stand on top. Some pieces you'll want to put in a stand, and others may already have like maybe an easel back to them, so you can use it to display things. So you don't have to put a stencil on it. You could just paint it up and then use it for display if you want. You got a 2-second, oh no, you had to break up with it. I need to get rid of that. Oh my gosh, that's awful. So I think this one though, I am gonna display in like a little plate stand. I have one of them back here holding our cookie jar that I can grab real quick so you can see. So it can be a stand, or you can display it, or you can put a hanger on the back of it and hang it as well. So, isn't that cute? Because I want it on my dining room table, but I'm going to display it. But I may decide later to use it as a food riser, and then I'll just add those little feet. Alrighty, you can use all different kinds. So this is done for today. So we'll set it over here, and we'll bring it back out in a few minutes after we do, sorry, I am talking in short blurbs, our wall hanging, which is underneath our stencil. So here's our stencil, completely dry. Put the lid back on my glue. Did anybody remind me of that? Here's the glue gun that I just got that Heidi recommended. Fuscia is the brand. Like I said, I haven't used it. It got a rechargeable battery, and you just tap the button, and it says it only takes a couple of minutes to heat up. So I'm excited to try it. So there's one idea for you. I got rid of my Surebonder. I'm not so thrilled with them anymore. Let's go back to our fabric and get it ready. Alrighty, put my brush up in a little bit. So which direction did this go? It goes this way. I remember now. So we'll move this out of the way. And we're ready to stencil on this guy. Let's see if it's going to hang over. Not too much, but I'll go ahead and leave my backer sheet under there. You do want something underneath your fabric because we're using ink. Ink has a tendency to soak into your fabric more than paste would and possibly go all the way through to your surface. So protect your surface with something. You can use the backer sheet. You can use a piece of parchment paper. We also, Magnolia, we're waiting to restock what we call our sticky ink mats. So any of those will work. So let's get this guy centered up. I'm going to leave that extra like ½ inch at the top. So I'm going to move that up and then we'll center it down here. So I can center it to my backer sheet mostly. Oh, it's upside down. Don't do that. Lift it up. Try it again, Joey. Don't make it upside down. Center this up to my backer sheet. And then I can use that as a guide, partly, for the stencil. Let's see how we're looking. Lay it down to where it's nice, somewhat smoothed onto the surface. Don't press it in until you're ready because it'll just save you some heartache of having to pull it off of the thing. That's pretty well centered. Now I need to smooth out my wrinkles like I did earlier from the center out. This is even more important on fabric so that you don't get wrinkles of your fabric underneath your sticky stencil. So smooth it out. Our sticky mats are very helpful to make sure your fabric surface is smoothed out without wrinkles. So if that is helpful, I will be notifying everybody on Facebook when those restock. A lot of people are waiting for those. So as soon as I know, I will get them to you. Now, I'm going to do two things with this. I'm not using paste. We're done with that. I'm using our ink. And I have three colors. And I think I'm going to be using the darkest one in the words. And then I'm going to mix these. I'm going to do what's called, technically people call this a hot mess method because instead of doing individual flowers in different colors, I don't have the patience for that today. Sometimes I do, but today I don't. I want to go quickly. I am going to blend these colors together over the entire floral parts of the design. And there's a very specific technique I suggest when you're doing it with fabric and ink. Because fabric, as soon as this ink touches the fabric, it soaks it in and it puts that color just in that spot. But if I want a blended look, I want it to be like marbled. I will be doing that and then spreading it across. So let me show you. If you want your colors in a specific place, put them there and use a squeegee to fill in just that spot. So you can use squeegees like, let me get a big one here. Like our paintbrush squeegees for teeny tiny spots if you want to do individual colors. I have no patience for that today. So I'm using a big squeegee and I'm using stir sticks to dish out my ink onto the surface, onto the stencil, not straight onto the surface. So each color is going to get blobbed onto the surface. So here is Wineberry. I want a good amount. I may have to add to it. So I don't want too much to start with. And this is Fuchsia Rose. I want more actually of the lightest color. So let's take, we'll go with that. We're going to do quite a bit of blob here. It's okay. So this is glittering rose gold. Oh, so pretty. You had to wash it off. She calls her glue gun drippy. Mine was dripping for a while. I don't know. Cindy tried what yesterday? The hot mess? Oh, I love this. I don't do it very often. Okay, so there's a lot more of this color. And remember, they're going to get mixed together anyway. Okay? So I'm just going to pick one. Well, I'll get an extra stir stick. Okay? And I'm going to start swirling, not heavily. I'm not blending all these colors together. I'm just giving it a swirl, and then we're going to bring it across. Okay? So I'm giving it a swirl. I want it. The colors definitely are put together. They're not, I mean, this is like folding in your colors, okay? And this will get set over here by itself. And then we're going to drag. So let me turn this sideways so you can see it come across onto, I'm going to come down and across. Don't get off of your stencil. And then we're going to come back across. I'm not doing the words in this, only the flowers. Okay. Now I've got a lot of it on here. I'm going to start scraping off my excess and I'll bring it down into, and give it a little more pressure. Bringing it down toward this area that doesn't have any ink on it yet. And then we're going to come this direction. Okay, so these get even more blended together as you swipe across, right? So you don't want to do a ton of blending before you swipe it. And as you can see, where solid colors hit that fabric, it sucked it right up. And it wouldn't give me much of a chance to blend. So let's do it down here. Boy, that was almost the perfect amount. Let's do it again. And it's going to look a little different, and that's okay. So blob of Wineberry, blob of Fuscia Rose. I need a little more to meet. There we go. And then like a double blob of, let me pick this up so I don't get it on my table. What is that? Glittering rose gold. Hello. Okay. Light swirl. Okay. Light little folding in. And then we're going to drag across. So let's move this over. I'm going to get a hold of this so it doesn't move around. And drag gently across. Get this too. Okay, now I'm going to go this direction. Okay, we're going to drag it across heavier and pick up excess as we go. I think I need a little more of this color in here because I didn't grab it to begin with. Okay, I got to turn this and go from this side. Here. Apply what's on my squeegee. And drag to get my excess. It really is okay if I get this on the words, but I want more of a solid color on those with the Wineberry. So I'm going to wait and go over the words with just the Wineberry. Make sure you don't. Now I still have a little excess on here for touch-up if I need it. Let's get another squeegee and come in with just Wineberry right in here for the words. And I can go ahead like I did before, gently spread it across. And if it gets on the flowers, it's really not going to be a big deal because we already have this as a part of that blended color. You could use a contrasting color. You could use the glittering black that we talked about before. We have that in the inks. And that would be a really pretty contrast. I hope you can see past my arm there. Okay, we've got, whoops, most of the letters covered. And I have this excess can go back in my jar. The blended colors I don't have won't be going back in the jar. So let's go ahead and clean off all of our excess here. I didn't grab others, we're good. Here and here. Get rid of my ridge line, so I'm going to gently go back over again. Oop, I thought I missed a spot there. Okay, so I'm going to hold on to this guy too, and we'll start to peel this off. Ooh, I'm excited. I'm excited. Let's get the fabric. Remember how I said that your little fibers might stick to your stencil? So be prepared to pull those loose. Ooh, it went right over the edge there. I didn't realize that. Okay, we're going to go up the side. Make sure your fingers are clean. Mine are not as clean as they should be. I usually wipe them off on a wipe first. Okay. Now we've got to be able to pull this whole thing up. Okay, let's hold it down. Peel. Oh, I missed a letter. So while I'm here, let's smooth, which letter is it? The V. Get that letter a little bit heavier. Got it? Would have been better if I had pulled from the other side since I am right-handed. But a couple more letters down here were too light. Let me move this over here. There we go. Slowly. Whoa, don't stick to my sticky fingers. One part of my G I need to grab a little more ink. There it is. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay, now this is going to go in my water tub, and it will be a whole lot easier to take it to my sink to wash than to do it in the water tub. But what the water tub does, it goes upside down, sticky side up in the water tub. What that does is it helps to keep that paste or that ink from drying before I can take it and wash it. Okay, I have an old towel here I can use. Have paper towels on hand unless you have an old towel like this that you want to use. Okay, yay, hang on, that is done. All of this stuff that is going to be washed at my sink, I'm just going to drop into the tub. Let me get my lids on these, and I will screw those down here in just a minute. So this is going to go in my tub. This is also, I don't get it on everything, guys. Not good. There we go. What do you think? Remember, we have this gap up at the top for our Velcro, which I can't find right now. Again, I don't know where I put the darn package of Velcro, but once I find it, I will do the same thing with this that I did with this banner. So it will look just like that. I will glue the soft edge of the Velcro to the front of this fabric piece where I want it placed so that it can be, then it'll Velcro to the piece that's on the back of our wood sign that we did on Facebook. Got ink on my finger. So it will look like this and hang wherever you want it to hang. Isn't that pretty? So welcome to our home. Gratitude turns what we have into enough. One of my very favorite phrases I have loved for a long, long time. Do you have a color in paste that would be close to Wineberry? We have maroon and raspberry. So we have these two colors that are very close. Maroon is the closest. Is that raspberry? That's really bright looking. That's not what I was thinking. Not raspberry. What's this one? I was thinking mulberry. Sorry, mulberry. These two are both really close. Okay, you can darken them. You can add a tiny bit of black to it or gray to it if you want to make it darker. Those are our paste colors. So that's it. We've got our two projects done. I will heat set this with an iron, and that's just so if I ever have to throw this in the washing machine, I can. And when I glue my Velcro on, I'm going to use fabric hot glue. Okay, you can sew it if you want to. I use fabric hot glue. But heat set this with an iron, 2 pieces of parchment paper, one underneath your fabric, just to protect in case any of that ink went through, which doesn't look like it did. And then a piece of parchment paper over the top, not wax paper, but use parchment paper. Your iron, if you use a standard iron, will be on a medium to cotton setting, and you'll iron over it for 4 minutes. Then you're going to flip the whole thing over, parchment, fabric, parchment, and iron over the back side of it for another 4 minutes. Then it's heat set, and you could even throw it in the washer and dryer if you want to. I don't, because that fabric hot glue I don't put in the dryer. But if any fabric piece you could. So this is the same process if you put ink on a t-shirt, design on a t-shirt, or on a tote bag, or on an apron, or on a pillow cover, or on a fabric banner that Magnolia sells. If you don't want to use painter's drop cloth, you can always buy fabric banners. You'll heat set it the same way, and all of those can be washed as well. Thank you so much, Patricia. I appreciate you guys being here. So once that's heat set, I will then put my Velcro on it. It'll be a little easier to iron without the Velcro on it first. And we will attach it to this. Now, if you want, you can see a couple of areas where that fuchsia rose was really bright. If you want more blend it more before you drag it across. Or blend smaller sections, so a little bit here and maybe a little bit here, and then drag across in rows. Because you can see that fuchsia rose really standing out, and some of the wineberry where I first started dragging it across. There it is. That's so pretty. That is so pretty. I love it. You could add a beaded hanger at the top if you'd rather have more color to it. Oh, so many options. So that's the second project, and this was our first project, all with that same stencil called Gratitude. The link is in the comments if you want access to the stencil or this wood kit. I will come back and list out all of the ink colors and the paste color that we used, information about the wax, if you want information about the welcome to our home sign, all of that. I'll add that to the comments. Thank you guys for being here. I'm going to check for questions I've missed real quick, and then we are going to get this uploaded for replay, okay? So if you want to come back and watch this for replay, feel free to. And if you enjoyed it, I hope you'll give it some of these, and I hope that maybe you'll subscribe to the channel, because I plan to be here once a week live, and I will be bringing in some more other recorded videos. So it was so good to be here with you guys. I appreciate all the time you spent with me, and I will see you guys soon. Tomorrow I'll be live on Facebook. So have a great one. Bye.